on my way to the big city for a business trip. Never ever left Mandrake Falls before. Ain't that a pip?
I told this man, this older man, said, "What are you doing next?" And I said, "I'm doing Mr. Deeds Goes to Town." And he said, "Oh, yeah? Who's playing the Gary Cooper part?" I said, "Oh, I am." He goes, "Oh?
Are you sure about that?
Well, the very kernel of the idea of Deeds came out of a book written in the 20s and then translated to film by Frank Capra in the mid-30s. But Mr. Deeds was, in fact, Gary Cooper. We had worked successfully with Adam Sandler on Big Daddy, of course, and Deeds seemed right.
Similarly, personally, you know, he seemed very much like Adam to me, and it just seemed like a fit.
Top one's yours.
Oh, thank you, Deeds.
Clincher was this. I was with my dad. He said, "What are you doing next?" And I said, "I don't know." And I said, "They're talking to me about this Mr. Deeds Goes to Town." And he said, "Ooh, that would be good. Your grandmother would like that." And I said, "All right, I'll do that. And if it's a failure, that's on you, Dad." And he said, I will take that responsibility."
What a Weisenheimer. Okay, everybody, it's showtime.
I promise to love you for 50 years more,
He writes poetry?
Oh, my goodness, yes.
even when your bosoms sag down to the floor.
Elements of the movie made in 1936 we loved. We loved, and we said, that's a movie that can be made today, almost piece by piece by piece by piece.
I understood why it hadn't been remade. It was a very populist movie, really the height of the Great Depression. People were angry. I mean, there were a lot of themes in it and, you know, styles of comedy and characterizations that, that just wouldn't work today.
I was wondering where they're going to get another tuba player for the band.
What happens in Deeds, the original movie, is a trial of Mr. Deeds, and it had to do with a lot of issues that I thought were specific to that time period. Once I saw what was happening in the trial, I didn't think that we would update that part of the movie. We wanted it to be on a different level.
There's still rich people and poor people in this country, and city people and country people, and I thought some of that stuff, you know, rang really fresh to me.
There's just one thing more. If it weren't for Miss Dawson being here with me, I'd probably bump your heads together.
Oh, I don't mind.
Okay.
Here we go.
I think I just shat myself.
I get to be funny, everyone else gets to be funny.
You got some in your beard. I'm just kidding you. I got him big time.
Yes. But we don't ever try to get too serious. I did the going down the rail, but the wipeout itself, we called Paul on that one.
Paul Adams, stuntman, we had to put a harness on him that had to actually pull him just at the right angle to get that right trajectory. And it was really hard and really tricky because we didn't want to go high speed on the camera, and we wanted it to look real.
He kept on rocking until we nailed it. He crashed every which way, but I think we got the best one in the movie.
Am I out or safe? Would you like to go see the sights now, Miss Dawson?
Oh, yes. I just need to powder my nose.
Adam was convinced from the beginning that Winona would be great for the role of Babe, and she turned out to be great.
It is a classic movie. Winona, something about it does feel classic, feels like she could have been a star in the 30s. And she was psyched to do it.
As soon as I met everyone, I just felt like we were all on the same page and had the same sense of humor, and I just thought, God, this could be a great movie.
You gonna see him again tonight?
Yes, I'm calling it around 4. It's when I get off work. Remember, I'm Pam Dawson, virgin school nurse from Winchester, Fieldville, Iowa. And I had this whole backstory of, like, Babe at one point wanted to be an actress, and, like, tried to get into the actor's studio, and so she's like kind of a really bad actress, was playing this part.
Oh, and I remember the time I fell out of old Boo Radley's apple tree and broke my arm. And my father, before he passed away from the disease of the lepers.
And I think she starts feeling guilty about what she's doing really early on. She doesn't think of him as stupid. She just thinks of him as a small town guy who will believe you if you tell him something.
Don't give up hope.
You'll be a reporter someday, if you really want to.
People can say that makes you a stupid person or a simpleton or whatever, but it's actually quite the opposite. I think that's something we should all aspire to be.
What's up, Chuck? Gallagher? Good bad guy. Just a good guy in real life. He works hard at being great.
Gallagher is an all-around great actor, and he's really funny in person. He's just hilarious. He loves to laugh more than anybody and make jokes and stuff.
I was actually in the original. You know, I was one of the little kids in the band.
He came up with great comedy ideas throughout the whole thing.
Oh! I swear to God, I'm not trying to do that.
The thing I try to do is try to, as I say, play a character you might encounter on the planet, especially in a comedy. You know, because there's nothing funny about somebody finding themselves funny. But if I really feel like I'm about to break through to my lifelong ambition to be a titan in the media world, the king of all media, that when Sandler shows up to screw everything up.
I actually was thinking about maybe sticking around here and going to some meetings with you. What?
You have a higher place to fall from. Everything means a little more, and it kind of heightens the stakes.
Also, Peter Gallagher was someone I worked with as an actor on Sex, Size, and Videotape years and years ago.
We stayed friends. He was the one who called me about this and said it would be a thrill and an honor.
Who are you?
I am Emilio, sir. I am your servant.
Oh, you kind of snuck up on me there.
I am very, very sneaky, sir.
Emilio is the great John Turturro.
I hail from Spain, sir.
I really wanted John Turturro in the movie. I'd never met him, but I'd been a fan of every time he pops in a movie, big or small role. He's brilliant, and he's engaging, and he's funny.
I like feet. I do not know why.
While we're writing it, we were thinking of John as Emilio, so that made it easier.
And of course, he turns out to be just the most hilarious, well-rounded character in the film.
That scene was originally step on it, and then jump on it, and then drop a book on it or something. I thought, let's do the iron. Let's just go for it.
We did it all different ways, and we were saying, you know, beat it harder, beat it this. But actually, you know, you really, it's a real workout. You know, you're beating this thing all day long.
Chop that wood.
You have to have a certain kind of velocity.
Yeah. I know you're starting to fix it.
If you hit it in the wrong place, it wouldn't go in. You had to hit it the right way in order to actually for it to stick.
And we're on the last take of it, I think, and I just yelled out to Adam, fake him out, like, you know, it really hurts.
Why would you do that to me? I'm just kidding you, fella.
And so that was one of those things that just happened right on the set.
You want me going there?
I'll tell you everything I know over lunch tomorrow, as long as your club promoter boyfriend doesn't try to run me over with his motorcycle again.
Covert is in love with Winona's character and is very jealous of Mr. Deeds.
Doesn't deserve you.
Great Alan Covert. That was one of our favorite roles that we ever put him in, making him do things that's partly for our benefit, to enjoy watching him. And on this one, we wanted him to be really fat and have this crazy hairdo and all these being disguises, each of which we could make fun of him while he was wearing it on and off the set.
He did put on a good 60 pounds for it, God bless him, or something like that. It's a lot of ass to go around.
Sweet Jesus.
Molest me. Marty, you molest me.
You got it.
I almost killed Alan Covert.
Yeah, I'll
Obviously,
get him.
Covert's going to
Oh,
run,
shit.
Adam's going to grab him, and that's where everyone said, let's cut. And I go, well, no, let's stay with it longer. Let's let Adam grab Covert, spin him around, but do it in a slower way, do it in a safe way, just spin him around so we can cut on the moves.
Yeah, I did say don't do it.
He was against it. Steve Brill.
Yeah, I read
my old
Brill.
friend from
Yeah.
way back, who knew how fat and out of shape I was, said, Covert can do this, he can do it. It's you run and you spin.
I was like, well, don't make it complicated. Let's just try it and see. And lo and behold, damn, if Covert didn't take off running too fast, Adam having to catch him, they kind of missed their mark. They're out of balance when they do it. Covert slips, and I'm literally 100 yards away, and we hear the skull. We hear the skull hitting the sidewalk. At which point, Covert's not moving, and I put my head down and say, I've just killed Alan Covert.
I think he put the water on the sidewalk.
What, there was slippy
Something
stuff?
happened. Look, I'm not that uncoordinated. Plus, I was wearing these stupid fake ninja shoes.
He had fake shoes on.
Like
he
these
was
ninja shoes. They were, and like I said, I was fat.
You were weighing about 310 at the time.
I wasn't that fat. I was weighing about 220 though.
220. That's a big man to go down, and the sound was evil.
Oh! Oh! You okay?
No.
Time out.
He was unconscious for about 15 seconds, and then he came around, and then within 20 minutes, he was back sitting, chatting with a huge bump on his head. I mean, our paramedic said, good thing, you know, he has a very thick skull. Covert was very proud of that. He goes, yeah, I have a thick skull. You're very lucky.
That is a real sound of a body getting thrown on cement. That is money, man.
Yeah, that was. I landed like flat on my head.
That's like a melon. Oh my God.
Longfellow Deeds is at it again.
Jared Harris was someone that I had really admired in all his movies.
The kind of personification of the rough, tough television executive bad guy.
You've got to be ruthless. When I started out, I slept in Tom and Roseanne's dumpster for 2 days, disguised as a giant carton of ice cream.
Hey, man. What's up?
Holy cannoli, you're John McEnroe.
John McEnroe, bless him, he was there for us.
Like Deeds in some way, a decent guy with a temper.
You know what it's like to get riled up, don't you, Johnny Mac?
That I do.
Someone you'd really like to see go out on the town, and you could imagine Adam keeping up with John McEnroe. We called him, and he was really into it, and he had a really good time. It was really fun.
Johnny McEnroe. Yes, he's flying way up high because he was a super cool guy.
Al Sharpton. Why not Al Sharpton? That was inspired. That was great.
We knew we wanted somebody dynamic. And way back at the beginning, somebody said, how about Al Sharpton? Called him up on the telephone.
Oh, thank you, my brother.
My friend got me a mug for my birthday. It says, it's hard to soar with the eagles when you're surrounded by turkeys. But what you said was better.
It's all good. I just thought it was something fun. They sent us a script, we looked at it, and I said, why not?
He actually made some of the stuff funnier than I could imagine.
The directive was, find us, please, a small town close in to New York that looks like a typical small New England town.
My God, it's all green.
We had an itinerary out in Connecticut, and we were sort of getting frustrated because we'd seen quite a few cities and nothing seemed to work.
We couldn't find a town that just had what I really wanted, which was no power lines, no signs, but also a real main street, not like 3 or 4 stores or not like any strip mall idea to it.
We have a lunch planned in this town called New Milford, Connecticut. It's not a location for the movie, but where we're going to have lunch there. So we set the helicopter down, we got into a van, and we went over to New Milford, Connecticut proper. We said, oh, this looks perfect.
Exactly what I had hoped. I mean, it was restored Main Street, but it wasn't kitschy or like a Disney World thing. It was a functional Main Street, but with real care to make it, you know, to make it really beautiful and quaint. And we went into this restaurant, and while we're in the restaurant, I'm looking around going, this could be turned into Deeds Pizza, too. By the time we left, an hour and a half later, we decided that was our town.
The town embraced us. I think Steve Brill got the key to the city or something like that. But it really was just like the perfect quintessential little New England town.
Shooting in New York is one of my favorite things to do. We found ourselves, you know, on Fifth Avenue in front of the Rockefeller Center. Of course, when you shoot on the streets and location, the scope of things you get is just unbelievable. And I really wanted the movie to have that feel everywhere you went.
It was tough, but fun, exhilarating to shoot in Rockefeller Center. You know, I must say, I looked around and said, okay, Sid, that's not bad. That's pretty good. You know, your family will be proud of you. Having grown up there, you know, and kind of a dream come true.
And we got to shoot in the garden. I've done other movies where we always write the garden in and you wind up shooting somewhere else. But this time we just said we got to do the garden because for those who know, it feels like the garden. The seat colors, the dressing in there is just like it's the garden.
It's a funny scene at the beginning because Adam comes in and there's the chef and there's a violin player who happens to be Steve Brill, the director.
She's gonna like that, Mr. Deeds.
Sandler and I and the crew, we got to, we were so excited because at lunchtime we got to play basketball. This is me in the garden, shooting it. I'm gonna make it.
Make sure it's on.
Oh, Rick. And that was amazing. That was the best time ever. Bethesda Fountain, that was always one of my favorite parts of Central Park.
Park is beautiful.
I just have always been enamored in that spot, and even as a kid, I'd walk by and really stand there and look at it. And then when I got older and started making movies, I always wanted to do a scene there. When that day came together and that night, I never wanted to stop shooting.
Big Victorian.
I have to give Steve a lot of credit, and Adam and Jeff Gorson, the editor, for keeping all that in, because it really sets the mood for this scene with Adam and Winona.
Jeez, Pearl, fire.
Get over here right now!
Come on! We'll catch you!
Go away!
Longfellow Deeds, Mandrake Falls Volunteer Fire Chief. I'll be up there in a jiff, buddy.
I had to climb the building, to save the cats from a fire. And when I first got there, and everyone's like, "Hey, Adam, they're ready for you. It could either be you or the stuntman to climb the wall." And I said, "The stuntman, Paul. Let Paul do it. He'll have fun doing that." And then I saw him do that, and everybody was like, pretty psyched how cool he looked, and then I got excited, like, oh, maybe I can do that.
He does it. You would think that would take all day to have your actual star do a stunt like that, but that goes easy. But one of the hardest things is a stunt like having a live cat that you have to protect and keep very safe. Bounce off a trampoline into someone's arms.
Fifi, where are you?
I think I found Fifi.
Yeah, he's wearing a fake hand, actually. I don't think you can see it at all, but there's like a latex glove hand with all this fire gel in there all the way up. So his whole arm is flame-proof.
I was screaming for real. Ah! And I was screaming because the fire was inches away from burning me.
He's very game. Adam will do amazing things, for the sake of the movie.
Tell me what you wanted to be. I wanted to be a fireman. I wanted to be the guy everybody called on if they were in trouble. I wanted to help people.
I think most Adam Sandler movies have one amazing distinguishing factor, and it's one that people, moviegoers, respond to. It's the heart and soul.
It's a good film. I think it's moving Adam out of the sort of one period of comedy into another period of comedy. He's maturing as an actor, both dramatically and comedically, so I think it's great.
It crosses over. I think, every generation will really appreciate this.
We try to make it as funny as we can make it, and it just so happens to be a sweet story. So you get attached to these people.
I'm so proud of you.